Hello and welcome to another episode of Pivotal Moments with Lolita. As always, I am excited about the amazing people that stopped by for the conversation. And I have another amazing person. Cydny is joining us today, who we go back a few years. Cydny, tell everybody just who you are and just the fantastic things that you are doing, especially in the community.
People say I put the C in community. I want to throw one of my hands up, but I know the mirror with the recording, I don't know how it's going to look. And I haven't been an English teacher. I kind of don't want to go there, but in community. And I think a great place to start and sharing with people who are not familiar with me, how we met. You said a few years ago, but we're getting closer. It's closer to a decade, Lita.
You're right. Oh my goodness, you're right.
Yeah, because I taught in Manassas at that time. We had some mutual friends, and I was a step coach.
Yes.
And you were doing a lot of community work, and there hasn't been much change because I follow you. One of my amazing steppers, shout out to Marcus, I think he secured one of your scholarships. You had a scholarship and a mentoring program.
Yes.
And I think from there, with me doing community work, I always tell people my last name is French for the village or our village. So I feel like it's kind of blazoned on my heart. No matter what I do, I'm taking a classroom with me, I'm teaching a lesson, and I'm taking care of the village. And also one of my aunts, bless her, she recently passed away. She had preached a word over me several years ago about Romans 8:28 and purpose. I just live a purpose-driven life. As I told you before we started recording, I call myself an action verb. There are some things, not to get too far ahead of myself, but I was recently selected by my peers on the Northern Virginia Regional Commission to be the chairwoman, and I've been asking for prayers about that. That's another level of leadership, and it definitely takes me outside of my comfort zone. Usually if you see me, I'm taking pictures and everything because I love documenting and having those bottled up moments bottled up, because sometimes you never know, especially in your pivot. You need to see good words, you need to see good memories, you need to record words. I have recordings. If someone's speaking something into me, sometimes I'm hold on, let me get my phone. Can I start recording? Because I'm going to need this one day. And so this is a new level of leadership for me. There are over 2.9 million citizens in Northern Virginia. It's a consortium of 13 municipalities representing Northern Virginia. And I'm the first Black woman to chair this organization. And it's amazing how we as a people are still making firsts, but what's on my heart is making an impact. And that's what I've always done. I've always tried to. Sometimes I'll tell my friends, because I know they're going to be watching this, and I'll say, I live a Forrest Gump lifestyle. I'm just out here, today if the energy hits me, go read to the kids. I'm reading to the kids. One day the energy hit me. I've worked in nonprofit for decades, not just as an educator, but with nonprofit organizations. I've learned the back end of managing nonprofit programs and grants and everything. And I provided trainings. I am reworking a book I had published years ago, but I was sitting home. I was working with another state level organization to provide a training. And I'm coming up, trying to get these papers together. Like, I'm gonna go to Staples and make these copies. And the Lord set me down. And he literally poured through me. I sat on the floor, Lita. And I ended up 5 hours later, Growing Your Purpose. The grant writing. It's a workforce development book. And I've taken it down because I'm in the process of updating it, because everything evolves, everything pivots, right? You know that. So I'm updating that. I have a couple of other things, but my initials are CAN, which is can. And I'm about you can do anything too. I was born blue. My mother had gone for a doctor's appointment, just regular checkup, and they realized my umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck. Why am I sharing that? Because it's important. As a shy person, people don't believe that I am shy. I have to use the power of my voice though. So I have to extrovert. and look at the grand scheme of things around me to do what God puts into me to do. And from day one, I'm battling forces, their energies, the good energies, other energies. On February 24th, 1977, the energy was in an umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, coming blue. And my mother had an emergency C-section. And, there have been things trying to stifle my voice and my presence. But, I live 828. So nothing to stop that. So I guess that's a good way to describe my, who I am at the core of things. And that spills out to several things I do. So I'm going to shut up for a second right now.
Oh my goodness. Now, see, normally I get the goosies later in the episode, but you hit me right from the beginning.
We're going to take them to church, Lydia. You said pivot. Look, Beyonce said I'm spinning with my hands up. Man, it's here like rolling dice. We spinning. Okay?
Oh my goodness. Wow. I mean, I just love how you communicated that, though, and just connecting and telling the story of who you are. That in itself, as I'm sure you know, is hard for people to just tell the story of who they are, but you just did that so beautifully.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, so we've covered that. So let's get into about the pivotal moment.
Okay.
Which one will you be sharing with us today?
I am not sure. I think I'm going to just speak in general. I think speaking with that born blue situation, I think that speaks to several things. So the first thing that comes to my mind, anything specific, will be the excitement of my son, who is driving the route to his new job tomorrow. He'll be embarrassed, so I make sure he doesn't see this if I'm talking about him. But being a single mother, he is starting his first job tomorrow, or embarking on his career, as I like to put it. And I am so proud of him. I'm so proud of my son. So, and that goes back to things I do, right? So something specific, having been a single mother, especially raising a son, especially raising a Black man, or as many people see me talk about, a brave warrior. To get to this point, there are moments. I live on the eastern side of Prince William County. Let's just say I was teaching in Manassas, and it might be like a 30-minute drive. There was a time I was coaching an award-winning step team, teaching. I was in grad school. They had at his elementary school this after-school specials program, so he's participating. I'm also teaching a class. I think we were doing step one time, and then there was one time we were doing journaling, and I was also in grad school, all at the same time. And just thinking about it, like, simply tires me out. But I know from my experiences as a single mother, I just wanted to help that group. And so with helping, and let me back that up, because I can't talk about that without mentioning I'm a major proponent for HBCUs. I apologize for saying what I am. I'm not used to doing that. My actions do it, but I don't know how many people watching are familiar with me. But there was a university, St. Paul's College in Virginia, and they had this amazing program for single parents to attend school. And this is a dream grant that I would love to write for an HBCU. And with this program, they had housing available for single parents. If you had a child under a certain age, I believe it was 8 years old, you can come and stay in one of those apartments while you pursue your degree. And it's very important to me because my mother was a single mother. I had my child my 4th year of college. It was hard to stay in school. I worked hard. I worked 2 jobs. I worked on campus as an office job. It was an admin assistant kind of job for Sodexo Marriott, and Fridays and Saturdays at Friendly's in Colonial Heights.
Wow.
I wanted my son to have things. So, having grown up with childhood insecurity, housing insecurities, it was important to me to provide my son with stability. So for me, that was key in raising my child. So at the age of 25, I purchased my home in 2002, not to say how old I am, but if someone's doing the math, you know. So I purchased my home in 2002, and next year I will have been here 20 years. So I will be having a Juneteenth celebration for my house. Usually I have some kind of birthday. But anyway, so I have been known to facilitate parenting classes that are authorized, court mandated from the Commonwealth of Virginia. I have authored a book called Baby, You Are Loved, because oftentimes as adults, when we go through things and have to pivot, have to shift, or there's a major shift in our lives, we can't cry. It's Sunday, I got to go to work tomorrow and make this money because daycare is too high, you know, just like the gas, right? So you can't go through. But then slowly but surely, you get to process, pivot, and adjust. And children just don't seem to have that outlet. So when I published this book, I can't remember the year, it was a while back, when I published the book, and I don't have a copy with me right now, it didn't even have a category. You know, it's like self-help for children, but you don't need to say, hey, here's a copy of Baby, You're Loved, go sit in the corner and go through that, Junior. You need to go through it with them, because as a teacher, when children don't get to process, I see that in the classroom. It comes out like, you know, just blurting in my class, you know, trying to be the comic relief for the class, or just not doing work. Something's wrong. You know, the story of the child without a pencil, several other things going on there. But when they are able to process, which is what this book is a tool for, it helps them cope in other aspects of their lives. And I truly believe, especially as an educator, that children are, every child in my presence, whether it be a formal classroom or if I'm leading a workshop, you know, in my own time, they have the power in them to be whatever they want to be. It's society, it's us who creates this box, and it creates limitations on what they can be. I know I have taught the next president, the next great attorney, the next anything, the next rock star, the next great whatever, the next Diddy, the next Oprah, the next Michelle, the next Obama, anything they choose to be. The world truly is their oyster. But sometimes, you know, life's experiences can show us the things that we need to do, the ways in which we can help. Our ministries are revealed, and oftentimes these are things that aren't even thought of. But things like that, and birthday bag drive. The birthday bag drive is something I've been doing for, I guess now, I'm going to say 21 years, because it's not my fault it was a pandemic last year, because last year was supposed to be the 20th anniversary of the birthday bag drive.
Aww.
And, you know, it's so funny. When I graduated college, I got my first job as a receptionist. I was making $27,000 a year. You couldn't tell me nothing, okay? So yes. I figured, you know what? I'm going to go back to the shelter. My family, we had stayed in the shelter before. Lockheed, Alexandria, which is now an adult shelter. Go figure. I figured that out 3 years ago. But it's funny when you go in there, the smell. They can renovate all they want to. The memory and the sense of smell. I had to pause in the intro because I can still remember, and they made changes, but not too many. I'm like, yeah, I remember. I had to close my eyes. I'm like going upstairs at the end of the hallway. There's a bathroom right there. And then there's like a room, because we were in that room. And they're like, wow, you're good. How old were you? I was like 8 or 9, like maybe 7 or 8. But I just wanted to make sure children with home insecurities have their special days, so just like the coping, co-parenting. If a child doesn't get to celebrate their birthday, imagine how that shows up in other aspects of their lives. We don't know how special we feel on our special day, right? As a child, that's turned up like 10 times, and you're not celebrating. It's a problem. It's devastating. It's crushing. And no child should feel that way. So, yeah, I graduated college, got my first job. I got my cardboard box, put it in the office area, and did like office collections for birthday bag drive, and been making birthdays happen ever since. To this day, I've made, not just me, through my organization, and I'm saying organization is organizing skills, with countless like-minded citizens, for the most part, across Virginia, Maryland, DC, and North Carolina. We have collectively made over 3,000 birthdays happen.
Wow.
And last year, I was just like, the birthday bag drive, it's work. Like, I'm kind of tired. This is going to be my last one because I'm tired. And you know what? I just need to move on to other things and do other things. And then the pandemic hit. And like, I don't want to tell people to go, to the stores and risk to buy items for a birthday bag drive. But it also hit that it's important and it matters. And so therefore this year we had our 20th birthday bag drive, but I'm counting it. Not my fault, it was pandemic. So 20 years.
Wow.
Birthday bag drives, making birthdays happen. So I'm working on a way to try to just make it a national or international initiative, just where people can go set up birthday. I'm sorry, I have to cut myself off because there are certain things about movements, right? It's not about you. A birthday bag drive is not about me. I just had the vision. I'm sure I'm not the first one. I won't be the last one to have the idea, let's make birthdays happen. One day come along to try to capitalize off a birthday bag drive, but the heart of it is to make sure children who are in transitional housing, homeless, or, hey, parents fell on hard times when they go to the shelter or go to the food bank and pick up food, they can go pick up a birthday bag to at least have a birthday for their child. And it's a birthday bag with a gift for a boy or girl, and it'll have birthday related items. So the idea is once the parent has this bag, they can take out cake mix, bake a cake. We started using already made small cakes, in the boxes. You can have those as well. And it's an instant birthday party in the bag. And the last thing in the bag is the gift for the boy or girl. And so that's it. And we made over 3,000 birthdays happen. And I'm sure that. But the first 12 years, I wasn't keeping numbers. I'm just collecting and dropping off. And there have been some people in the community to make that happen. So if anybody's watching, email me or contact me. I'm sure you'll have my contact information there. Make birthdays happen. And if you look on the Ville Empowerment Network on Facebook, there's information about birthday bag drives. So the more, the merrier.
Well, first, there's just so many things that you're sharing that I have to speak on. I'm always moved by people who have taken what they've gone through in life and their childhood or whatever it is, and actually use that to not just make themselves better, but to actually take that and help other people that are going through what they went through, help basically to prevent the next person from maybe having to hurt so badly from something that they're going through. And it's not like a shade on people who don't do that, because everybody does what they can. But to me, it's almost like superheroes in my mind, because there is a measure of vulnerability. There is a measure of you kind of pick at your own wounds to an extent when you think about it, because you have to really dig deep and think about how you felt and how things impacted you in order to really want to help another person who may be in similar circumstances that you went through. So I just have to first commend you. Like you said, I've known you for about a decade now, but when we do get to chat, and then when I do get to kind of pause and just see the things you're doing, I'm just filled with admiration. So I have to first just say that.
Thank you. And you're right, that picking at your wounds part, and I think that definitely was a part of why I was thinking this, like, okay, it's been 20 years. And there's a thing about, one, being the person you needed when you were younger, right? And then there's also a thing of just bringing things 360. And the birthday bag drive definitely brings an aspect of my life 360. And it also brings me joy. Like, community service is a superpower, and it does really energize me. you know. But now it's just like after a while, you got to pivot it, because there were times I've had a car full of birthday bags. My dining room would look like Easter because there'd be so many colorful bags. Bags in my basement, which is amazing. More bags, more birthdays that get to happen. Axe PWC has been inundated with birthday bags. I know a couple of they receive so many bags that probably last them a few years. So, it is a thing of picking at your own wounds as well. And I'm very big on self-care at this point. And Phil, I was telling the group yesterday, I was speaking to them, and I said, the thing is, like the civil rights movement and everything, when you look back, there are lots of pictures of children. When groups were getting arrested, they're children. When they were marching, it's led by those like in their 30s, you got Martin Luther King and everything, but it was a lot of preteens and children there, sneaking out from their homes because their parents didn't really want them doing all that. But they were out there, and they were the spirit, they were the leaders in the movement. And so I'm saying all that to say, because black don't crack, but I'm getting old, so someone with that youthful energy, they pick up the birthday bag drive and just move it forward. I'm ready to sit back and play coach at this point in my life. And
I get it.
One moment that like really warmed my heart this year, one of my former students' parents were connected on social media, and she said, my son wants to do the birthday bag. I was like, what? And did, and I know she's watching. Yes, I'm talking about you if you're watching, Asami. So she and her son, the whole family got involved and did an amazing job to make sure birthdays happen for youth in the Fredericksburg, Stafford area. And I think that's leadership, that's impact, and it's bigger than you. So it's working when it turns over and evolves and it pivots and grows into this other thing. So that's what I'm looking for. Let the youth continue to lead. We can't have meetings about or society and community coming together about big issues that we're going to tackle without the youth being there, because it's not ours. I'm here to be.
So as we talk about these different pivotal moments in our life, one of the things that I always like to make sure is covered in these conversations is what has been the unchangeable thing for you. So when we think about a pivot, there's that central thing that things turn around, circle around that. So with these moments in our life, we tend to discover that there's that unchangeable thing that causes us to make those moves around that. And a lot of times we don't discover that until we are kind of either in the pivot or after and looking back. So for you, with just kind of these different moments that you're talking about, what would you say you discovered is that unchangeable important thing for you that everything else will always circle around that?
A couple of things come to mind. One of them is there's this inner voice, and it's get back up, God. Two, it's a thirst to not only be alive and survive the daily challenges and obstacles of this life, but to thrive. Just keep moving. So those things inspire me. And also when I think about the phrase of being your ancestors' wildest dreams, my mother is one of those ancestors now, so I need to live dreams out loud. I am like her wildest dreams personified on another level. I always tell people, if I was rich, I'd be dangerous. I think God maybe did not make me rich for a reason, because we got to level out the playing field a little bit here.
Right.
But I'm ready for that blessing.
Right.
He got into existence. I'm ready to receive it. But and I think that central piece that you're talking about, I think it evolves as we evolve. Just developmental stages. There's a developmental stage, children want to impress their parents. Then it's like I want to impress my peers, and then it's like I'm not in any of those stages anymore. But it's just what is moving you. And one thing I've used to hopefully motivate and inspire other people is one of my hashtags is you can do anything too. Because when I look back, I'm like, wow, it's been like done some pretty awesome things, and I can't even tell you what they are. I have to go to my website if I had to list them out, and still the website is horribly outdated. So I don't know, but your today doesn't determine your tomorrow. One of my earliest business cards used to have a slogan of "See beyond beyond," and I'd like to achieve beyond. So whatever that thing is, anybody watching, you like to do, but you think, oh my God, that is too hard. Ain't no way I can ever do that. You can do it. You can definitely do it. You can do anything too. And another thing I'm big on is another hashtag, owning your power. But there's a thing, knowing it. And I have to say to myself, every time I step out with some idea or something I want to do, I never really know the magnitude of my own power. That sometimes your power, when you know parts of it, what you do know, it can be scary. It can frighten you, and it can frighten others, but it's important to try to tap in. And I always say just meditate. Like people talk, find your purpose. I don't believe you can find your purpose. You have to be still, and your purpose will find you. And I think it's the same thing when we talk about knowing your power. Like I thought I knew it a couple of years ago when I first held my women's empowerment retreat. And apparently the power keeps growing. And because, like I said, I'm Forrest Gump lifestyle. Oh, do this. All right, got you. Let me go do that. I'm not thinking about someone who may be full of another energy, who is sitting there not happy about my accomplishments. I don't even get an accomplishment. Someone will tell me, oh, that's great. I thank you, Cydny. I'm like, all right, thank you. All right, next time, where are we going to eat? Like, like that's just how my mind works. You just have to keep moving forward. But it is important to take note of your power. But if you keep moving in your purpose, I don't think you'll ever know the depths of it. I don't think you ever will. I don't even know if that was your question, but all that rambling was my answer.
That's it. I love it. I love it. Well, as we come to the end of our conversation here, what do you want to leave with people? First of all, just any message directly, just adding on to all the amazing things you've shared, but also if there's anything that you're currently, working on that you want to share with people, now is the time. Just go ahead and talk directly to us and let us know what your final words are. Yeah.
Well, due to the pandemic, I've had to cancel some of my Own Your Power Women's Empowerment Retreat. So I'm in the process of putting something together in the fall that will allow us to unplug, and this is for women, coming together and having some just leadership and self-care. I'm a Myers-Briggs practitioner. It's my new thing because I don't feel like going back to school becoming a psychologist, but I do love management part of MBTI. So I will involve that, and it'll be this fall, just time to unplug. And if you follow cydnyconsults.com, information on that will be coming. Let's see. I just tell people, own your power. You can do anything too, whatever it is. But sometimes for some people listening, I just like to be real. I don't want to be like a killjoy, but just being totally honest. Like there are inspirational words and catchphrases. We hear them all the time. But sometimes understand, especially during this pandemic, right? I think everyone has had a level of trauma during this pandemic. Just with the pandemic itself. The things you can add on top of that, could be endless. But sometimes, because I know I've been there myself, you get tired of pushing. So know when it's time to pause and take a break. You don't get an A+ in everything you're doing. But you got to keep this here good. If you don't keep good headspace, whatever you're trying to do, it's just not going to come together right. And you have to have good heart, good intention. So whatever you're doing, whatever you want to do, whatever you aspire to do or be, do it with good intentions. Be authentic. Make sure you practice your self-care no matter what, because life is a beautiful thing. There are a lot of wonderful things going on, but sometimes it can be challenging too. So take your time, take your break. You might lose some things. You might win some things. I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna win. God didn't create you to lose. And I always tell people, God didn't bring me here to drop me like a hot cake. So, whatever it is, keep going. But you are not in a race with anyone. You're on your own time. You're on God's time. Stop and take a minute. Like literally go outside and smell the roses and just let some of that vitamin D from the sunshine hit your skin and enhance that melanin. Like let that happen. So you can follow up with me. My website is cydnyaneville.com, and that's where all things I like to do, albeit outdated, are posted and links to how to connect with me. Just protect your peace and do what God plants into your heart. That's it.
Wow. I mean, now we got all this in this little bit of time. Imagine if you all actually connect with Cydny, her different consulting opportunities, and I think I saw on LinkedIn you have a tea time. Like, y'all need to follow her, because you see how much you got from just this little small bit. Like, I done had goosies the whole time. I mean, yes. So it is a pleasure and honor. Of course, all your information is there on the screen, so you all have no excuse to follow Cydny. And once again, Cydny, thank you so much for stopping by, having the conversation. I feel like we don't always, years may go by and we don't talk, but it's just always that connection and that feeling like, we got each other's back and we want to see each other succeed. So I
call it an alignment, Lita, an alignment. Yes. And thank you for all that you do. People like you, we need you in the community. You're doing hard work all the time. You're doing hard work. Since I've known you, you made it possible for kids to go to school, So you do amazing work. You've done wonderful work for a woman. What you do, it matters. We need your magic. So thank you. I'm mentoring some young people coming up after you, because we need more. We need you to multiply. We need that energy multiplied.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. And again, like I said, everybody follow Cydny. And as always, thank you for your support in watching Pivotal Moments. And again, just stay tuned for more pivotal moments from people around the world sharing just these amazing life stories and sharing with us the things that they've gone through so that we can make our way a little bit smoother. So I will see you next time on Pivotal Moments with Lita.